and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with Communications and Marketing for the City of Hampton. And today we're going to do one of our episodes on preparing for hurricanes and other disasters. And my guest today is Sarah Ruch.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah. Sarah is the Deputy Coordinator for the Emergency Management Center. And I have to tell you, whenever I get an email from you, it's one of these oh no moments. And I like you personally, but it's you bring bad news. I'm sorry, Sarah.
No, that's very true. I run into that quite frequently. People generally don't like to see me or get emails.
I know, and they usually come at night and on the weekends. You know, all of over the summer, we've had a lot of extreme heat warnings.
Yes.
We have the occasional extreme cold warning, and you pull people into action for those.
Yes. Pull them out of their comfort zone and into the EOC. Think a little bit differently than normal.
But the big one, living on the coast as we do, is hurricanes.
Correct.
And it is hurricane season.
It is.
And before we get that email from Sarah that says we are being threatened with a hurricane on the coast, this is the time when people should be pulling together their hurricane kits, going through it, updating it. So tell us, you've got a couple of samples of different things here, but let's start with your basic kit, what people need in their homes prior to a disaster.
And a lot of this stuff, most people should already have in your home. It's just a matter of consolidating it. One of the things that people might not have, which I'm going to talk about first, which is really important, is a NOAA weather radio, or some of them you can get with the hand crank. So when the electricity goes out, you can still listen and get weather updates of, impending tornado or hurricane, those sorts of events. So that's good. This one also doubles as an AM/FM radio, so then you can listen.
I think that's helpful,
Yeah, you can listen to the HU radio station.
Right, as we learned, we're going to be broadcasting the city warnings and alerts and information on the HU radio station.
So that's
the other thing is, some of those, I know I got one last year finally, it has a solar cell as well, so you don't always have to hand crank.
Right.
And after a hurricane, you usually have plenty of sunshine, often too much sunshine.
True, then the heat comes after the hurricane, so you have a totally separate issue. Actually, they've come out with a lot of solar products recently. You can even get solar chargers for your cell phones. A lot of people have smartphones now, and that's a great way to stay connected.
Absolutely.
So, watch the Facebook page and interact with us that way.
Sarah, just a ballpark, how much do those tend to run?
Well, you can get the really expensive ones for, anywhere between $50 to $75, or some of them run as cheap as $15.
Okay, so it really is in most people's reach.
It is, it is. And one of the things that I want to stress is try and get a SAME weather radio, SAME, because then you can program it to Hampton and you're not listening to the whole entire East Coast for the watches and warnings and stuff, because sometimes you can get stuff all the way down into North Carolina. The one in our Emergency Operations Center is not SAME, so we have a lot of warnings coming through that really don't apply to us. So if you can invest that extra little bit, it saves you a lot in the long run. Those are normally the $50 ones. But you can sometimes, if you Google, get a good deal on them online. So.
All right, great. Okay, I'm going to point to the fire extinguisher because I never would have thought that should be in a hurricane kit.
Yes. Well, it's good in general just to have one around your house for safety and preparedness anyway. But what if you were to have an electrical outage in your house, or a wire caused by a surge of power after Dominion Power restores your power? Or cooking inside. You're not supposed to be doing that, but some people do. It's always a good idea
even outside, right?
To have a fire extinguisher, because you don't want to on top of not having power and electricity and all that sort of stuff, you don't want to cause another disaster.
No, people are lighting candles. I mean, there's all sorts of things that don't happen. I don't know why I didn't think of it.
Yeah, well,
that's why you're here. What else didn't I think of?
Okay, well, a lot of this you probably have thought of, but your simple flashlight, it's always good. What I do in my house, this can be in your kit, and always know where your kit's at, or I have a flashlight stationed right on my bar, my countertop bar, and I always know where it's at. So when the electricity goes out, I just run right to my flashlight, and then I can go check my electrical box or do whatever else I want to do with the flashlight.
And you keep extra batteries,
Yes,
obviously.
Sure do, and you want to make sure that you keep them in a plastic baggie, because depending on how long you've had them, they do sometimes explode, so you don't want that getting all over your food and everything else that you have in your disaster kit. So, and change everything frequently, rotate it through. So. Another good idea is, non-perishable food items, because if the electricity goes out, you're not going to be, you shouldn't be eating stuff out of your fridge that needs to be cold. So, snack crackers are awesome. You also have your canned food items. Now, a lot of the canned food items now have these convenient pop tops.
Isn't that smart?
Yeah, so you don't have to have, your manual can opener, but you could, so that's nice, but you need to make sure that when you buy whatever you're putting in your kit, it either has the pop top or you have the manual can opener, because remember, the electricity is not going to work, most likely.
So many people forget that.
Yeah,
little things like that.
It is.
Right.
It's little things like that. You need to have 1 gallon of water per day per person.
Now, that's not a gallon of water.
No, it's individual packets of water. So
that's cool.
Yeah, this is handy. It actually came in a kit like this, which is a travel to go kit for your car or for your office place, in case you get stuck there or on the road while you're trying to evacuate. That's a little bit more convenient than the big Tupperware box that I brought in earlier. So.
But you should, at home, have a few gallons set aside, or some individual bottles. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because 1 gallon per person per day, and we suggest preparing for at least 3 days to be on your own.
Gosh, yeah, after Isabel, I think I was without power. It wasn't quite 2 weeks, but it was close. It was like 12 days, and it was a very long time.
Yep, it was a good time.
We did have water, though.
Yeah, it was a good deal of time without power. So you need to make sure that you're prepared for that. And then, duct tape. Duct tape is good for anything. So to prepare,
always have